ran an experiment as a female on Hinge, and in this video I break down the male bios that I saw, the good and the bad, and then at the end of the video I give you some specific tips and examples that you can implement to start getting dates this week. The experiment parameters were that I set up a female profile, age 27, in the Bay Area for 1 week, and I got 400 likes overnight, literally thousands in a week. It was impossible to go through all of them, but some people's bios really stood out and most of them really sucked. Here's one, for example. The only one thing you should know about me is not only am I passionate about my friends, family, and career, but I also have a kind heart and love giving back to the community through volunteering. So my big problem with this is show, don't tell. This guy here is telling me that he's passionate. He's telling me that he loves his friends and family. He's telling me that he loves giving back to the community. I don't want to hear you talking or bragging about yourself. I want you to tell a story about it or something. Like, one time I was in Nicaragua helping 11 kids build a shelter for their family, and these kids told me that I look like a donkey. I don't know, something funny, but also shows me oh, this guy volunteers, he must have a kind heart, right? Don't tell me you're passionate about your friends and family. Write something about it, right? Every winter, I take my family on a ski trip, including all the nieces and nephews who, can't even walk yet. That tells me you're passionate about your friends and family. Don't brag about it. Don't tell me you are. Show me that you are. This is just really pointless bios that don't add any value to that person. I'm looking for the shoes a monkey snatched from me during vacation. You may as well not even write anything. This makes you sound like a kid who loses his shoes. A life goal of mine is to cure cancer. That's nice. So is everyone's. I would love to cure cancer. This doesn't add any value, right? Guys don't know how to write bios that actually make them look good. These just make them look neutral at best and horrible at worst. Some more bios that have no purpose at all. They're just taking up space, right? Do you disagree that almond milk is the worst alternative milk? Who cares? Who cares? How does this make you a better dating prospect if you like or dislike almond milk, right? A random fact I love is every mirror is sold used. Great. Does this make you more attractive? Why do I care? That's it. If anything, maybe it's a little bit funny, but you probably just got this off of Google somewhere. Really, every bio is an opportunity for you to show something positive about you so she wants to date you. Don't just fill it with space. Here's the only good one that I saw out of literally the thousands. Out of all the men that I matched with and saw on the app, a lot of guys had good profiles. Very few guys had good texting, and very few guys had good bio, minuscule. All right, minuscule. This guy says 2 truths and a lie. I crashed a Lamborghini. Mark Cuban commissioned a custom art piece from me, and I was a model for a designer shoe brand. This is really cool, okay? Because it evokes curiosity. I'm like, okay, you were driving a Lamborghini. Why did you crash? Mark Cuban? Why were you talking with Mark Cuban? Were you a model for a shoe brand? Now, we don't know which one of these is true, but if 2 of these are true, that's all pretty impressive. It makes me want to ask questions. It shows, it doesn't tell, right? It's not oh, I make a lot of money, right? No, I crashed a Lamborghini. Oh shit, he must make a lot of money. I'm really famous. No, he knows Mark Cuban though. Maybe he's famous, right? Subtle DHVs. DHVs are demonstrations of high value. This is the same thing as show, don't tell, right? You want to demonstrate things about you that paint you in a positive, high value light. Not monkey boy over here, but actually these things make it seem like this guy's really got some things going on for him. He says, best travel story. Almost getting kidnapped by a Chinese millionaire in Malta. All right, why were you in Malta? Why did you get kidnapped? Why were you hanging out with a Chinese billionaire? Curiosity. And if he's associated with all these things, it must mean that this guy has some level of success and status. Very, very good bios. So my conclusions from this experiment: most bios are way too generic, okay? I have a rule for my clients that if anyone could write it, it's too generic. The one about the mirrors, every mirror is sold used. Anybody could paste that into their bio. The one about being kidnapped by a Maltan or Chinese billionaire in Malta, nobody can copy that bio. That is the only person who has that experience. Show, don't tell. I've hammered on this enough, but tell stories that show things about you. Don't be like, I'm passionate, I'm adventurous, I love my family. No one cares, right? Show me that you love your family. Show me that you're passionate. Most bios don't add any value to the guy. They just take up space. If you have all this space to show off yourself, why are you not doing that? Most bios are written like LinkedIn, okay, list format and super logical. They're like, I love my family, I love my friends, I love my dog, I love my career. Write a story that's emotionally engaging, captivating, makes me want to ask a question about it. Most bios don't have any purpose, they just take up space. And the best bio doesn't matter if your photos suck. So if you have a good profile, then the women will read your bios. If your profile, your photos suck, the women won't even bother reading your bios. They will not save you at all. The bios are like the top 10%, or sorry, the 10% after the 90% that is your photos. So how can Asian men stand out? Knowing all this data of what's out there, of what other men are doing, how can you stand out? The first one is write bios like a story, not like LinkedIn. Okay, so this guy that I helped, one of my clients says, worst idea I've ever had, rented a motorbike in rural Vietnam from a guy with DIY tattoos, ended up in the hospital, but the views were worth it. That's a cool story. That's a cool story. Makes me want to ask, why were you in Vietnam? Why were you renting a motorbike? How'd you end up in the hospital? You know, he could have said, I ride bikes, I travel, and I like good views. That would be so boring. And that would be like LinkedIn, list format, right? Instead, he told a story. Show, don't tell, okay? So best travel story. One of my clients said, sailing overnight on a felucca down the Nile, might or may not have played truth or dare with fellow travelers. Felucca is like some kind of boat. This is a great story that demonstrates that he's adventurous, demonstrates that he travels, that he does new things, right? He's open-minded, right? You know, he could have wrote, I am adventurous and open-minded. Nobody cares what you say you are. Show that you are, right? If you can show it through your stories and you can show it through your photos, then now the girl gets a demonstration that you are these things, that you're just not just saying you are, right? A fat person could easily say, I am skinny. It doesn't work like that. Use hooks to give women a reason to comment. So one of my clients said, what if I told you that I've mastered the art of making pizza? The perfect dough, tangy sauce, secret blend of cheese. Perfection. Now taking applications for sous chef. First of all, this is an amazing first sentence here. Secret blend of cheese? Oof, what is the secret? The descriptive words that he uses literally has my mouth watering. And you know, women love pizza. Now taking applications for sous chef. This gives her a reason to hop in his DMs and be like, can I be your sous chef? I'm really good at pizza as well, right? Gives her a reason to comment. Use your bios to DHV, demonstrate high value. And keyword, demonstrate. Don't tell, don't say you're rich, maybe show it. Don't say you're passionate, but show it, right? My client says, my simple pleasures, salsa and bachata nights, homemade cocktails, and turning my dating life into stand-up comedy bits. That's cool. He dances salsa and bachata. Okay, he knows how to make cocktails. That's high value. That's cool. Turning my life into stand-up bits. That means this guy's funny. He does stand-up. He stands up in front of people. That means he's brave. Look how much value is in this one bio, right? Instead, what if he said like, I like to dance, I make really good drinks, and I'm funny. Who would care and who would believe that, right? But instead, he writes it in a way that you come to your own conclusions about the fact that, oh, you know, he's got some skill at dancing, he has some creative, you know, cocktail making skills, and he's a funny guy, right? Believe it or not, I wrote 2 video games and then published them online. Points if you can beat me in them. This is cool because he's showing something about him that's unique, that's high value. The fact that he created something and put it out there and people play his game, right? You know, he could have written something like, I don't know, I like video games. Like, that would not be very high value. It's like, everybody likes video games, and what does that show about you, right? It evokes an image of you playing games in your mom's basement, whereas this guy's actually developing something, putting it into the world, people are playing it, right? And then he has a hook down here, points if you can beat me in them. It's a challenge. It's a pre-opener. It's basically an opener before the opener that gives the girl a reason to hop into his inbox. And lastly, you know, have good photos. As I talked about, without good photos, women won't even read your bios. The photos do 90% of the heavy lifting. The bios are meant to fill in that last 10%, show off things that are not shown in your photos, and give the girl an entrance into the conversation, right? If the girl starts the conversation, the chances of you meeting her are exponentially higher than when you're starting the conversation. Okay? Because most women don't start the conversation. If you want my help getting 2 to 3 dates per week so you can find a long-term relationship, I can help you do that. Apply down below using the link to book a call. We'll see if we're a good fit. Talk about if you're a good fit for the program and if I can help you start going on dates next week. And if you're wondering, like, Alex, I don't know anything about you, I don't know how your program works, check out the main video on my YouTube channel, which will walk you through, you know, me and my backstory, how exactly I help people, who I've helped before, their results, etc. From there, you can decide for yourself if it's something that you want to hop onto. Other than that, hope you enjoyed this video. I learned a lot from this experiment. I have 2 other videos about the photos I observed from these guys and the texting I observed from these guys. You know, you can learn so much from the female perspective, and honestly, most of these guys' dating profiles sucked. So if you know the proper way to stand out, you have such a good chance with the women who are just tired of all these trash profiles on dating apps. But anyways, enough rambling from me. See you in the next video. Have a good week.